Welcome to this week's One Image My Edit. I hope you're well. So this week I'm going to be showing you how to create a cinematic grunge edit. That's what I'm calling it. So basically this edit is very much along the lines of movies where they color grade their images and make them look a little bit more cinematic and a little bit more rough and grungy, I would say. That's the terminology that I'm sticking with. And you can see here, this is the before and after. So I'm going to show you the steps of how to do this. Again, with all these One Image My Edits, this is very, very simple to do. So I will walk you through it and show you how it's done. So let's just reset all of this. There we go. So you can see that's the original image there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring the contrast down. So we're bringing this down because we want to get that cinematic look, and the cinematic look doesn't have a lot of contrast in it. So I'm going to bring that down to around -20. We're also going to be suppressing the highlights as well. Okay, now she's sat next to a window, so we're going to bring them highlights down to, again, about -20, 21, around there. And that's just going to tone everything down for us. And then we're going to boost up the shadows. So we're going to get a little bit more detail back into them shadows. So +20. And what that's doing is it's almost flattening the image and bringing detail out in the dark areas. And that's what gives you that cinematic look. So again, leading on from where we were with the highlights, with the actual whites themselves, we're going to bring them right down. So I'm going to bring them down to about -50. So again, you can see there, we're just suppressing all these highlighted areas. Same with the black. So I'm going to bring them down, not so much, probably around -30, I would say, around there. That's a good starting point there. So if you see quickly, what we've done there with the actual image, we've flattened it. We've taken the contrast away. Okay. Right. So the next step then is adding a little bit of clarity. Now, usually with portraits, I don't recommend adding clarity, but with this particular edit, then we're going to go all the way to +50. Okay, and that's what's going to give us, again, it's leaning towards that more cinematic look, and you can see there what it's doing to the dark areas. It's just darkening them, and it's just giving it a little bit more contrast there within them areas. We're also going to use the dehaze tool, and I'm going to push that right up to about 45. So you can see there what that's doing. It's quite a big difference, isn't it? So it's starting to, go down that route. So let's have a look at the vibrance and saturation. I'm going to take the vibrance up just a smidgen to around +15. So we're just kind of boosting the colours, and then I'm going to take all of the colour away. So we're just making sure it's a little bit vibrant, and then just bring this saturation down to around -30. So that gives us a little bit more of a raw image there. So coming to the tone curve then, what we're going to do is we're actually going to suppress and matte the blacks. So if I come all the way down to the bottom here, and if you click, I'm going to drag this up. And what that does is it mattes the blacks out. Can you see what it does? It just lightens them. Okay, and it gives it a bit of a matte effect. Then what I'm going to do is just click where this curve is here on this histogram. And I'm just going to pull that down ever so slightly. So we get a real nice gradual line there coming down. Can you see? Okay, so that's looking pretty good. It's mainly the blacks here. That's what's given us this matte effect, which is what we want. So now then, let's get to the colors, and this is where a lot of the magic happens within Lightroom. So I'm going to leave the reds on the hues. Sorry, I'm going to leave the reds. I'm going to bring the oranges down to -10. Okay, and that's because of skin tones. And the same with the yellow, but I'm going to bring the yellow down to around -60. Okay, so what we're doing is we're actually altering the skin tones. Now you can see there she's looking a little bit more, the yellow's looking a little bit more orange. And the greens, I'm going to completely take them away because I hate green. It's not because I hate green, it's because it's to do with the spectrum of light. So we're just completely taking that green away. Okay, then let's go to the saturation. So the reds, we're going to bring this down to -25. And the oranges, I'm going to boost them up to around +15. The yellows, I'm going to do the same, but I'll probably actually push them up to plus 30. Okay, so what we're doing now with the saturation, we're bringing back these skin tones. So we, even though with the hues we change, you know, the color of the yellows and the oranges. Now what we're doing is just boosting that saturation back up a little bit. The greens minus 50, I would say, but to be honest, there's there's not a lot in there anyway. So yeah, about minus 50. That should be okay. The aqua, I'm going to bring that right down, minus 60, I would say. And actually now looking at that, I'm going to bring this green back up to 40. Just a little bit more in there, so it's a little bit more balanced out then. And then the blues, I'm going to bring that down to minus 60 as well. So if we look there, what we're actually doing is, when you think of the saturation, it's about, it's you know, the color itself. If I keep going and go all the way to 100, that means I'm completely taking blue away. The aqua, again, I'll be completely taking that color away. So you can see what I'm doing there. I'm just pushing the skin tones up and I'm just pushing everything else down. And it gives you this lovely sort of matte, and it's almost a gray tinge effect. Let's go to the luminance, so the actual brightness of the colors now. So the reds, because of what we've done in the previous, I'm going to boost that up to around plus 5, plus 6, something like that. And the same with the oranges, I'm going to push them up a little bit more because they're skin tone, so we just want to make them a little bit brighter. And same with the yellows and the greens, so let's just push them all up to 30. So we're just kind of counterbalancing it, just bringing, even though we've taken the saturation out of the colors, we're still pushing them up just so they become a little bit brighter and a little bit more manageable. Same with the aqua, let's bring that up, not as much because of the blue that's in it, so plus 20. And the blue as well, let's bring that up a little bit more, probably around plus 40. So we're bringing the brightness back. Okay, so yeah, that's looking pretty good now, isn't it? We're starting to get there. It's starting to become a little bit more of a cinematic look there, grungy cinematic look. So let's go to the color grading then, and it's just going to be the highlights and the shadows. Not going to worry about the midtones. So we click on the shadows. We want a hue, and I would say around 75, something like that. So it's almost like a green yellow tinge. Can you see? So it's just smack bang in the middle there, which is quite a nice color. And let's just add a saturation of about 5. So it's just a nod of color. It's not massive amounts. Okay, and the reason why is because it's natural daylight, and there's a lot of light coming in. So within them shadows, we don't want them too overpowering. Otherwise, the actual image will start to look too green, and she'll look like Incredible Hulk, and I'm sure she won't like us if we do that. Okay, so that's looking pretty nice. I'm then going to jump over to the highlights, and oh no, actually I've done that back to front, haven't I? Let me let's try it this way. It should be okay. So we can have it either this way or that way. It depends what you want, really. So let's have a look. I would say 55. So we're looking at a yellow, a bit of a yellow in there, and let's push that up a little bit. So about there. So you can swap these over. You can either have the highlights with this kind of yellow tinge, and then the shadows with the green, or you can do it the other way around. It's entirely up to you. So you will get slightly different effects. The last edit you just see, I actually done it the other way, but it still works. It still looks pretty cool. So yeah, you can definitely get away with that. And that from there, from color theory, is a split complementary there. So we've got a nice complementary colors. That's why it works. Okay. And what I am going to do is I'm going to bring the balance down to around minus 50. So what that does is it just nods it towards, just brings it down a little bit. So if we go towards that way, we've got more of the yellow tinge. This way is more towards the green tinge. So in fact, I could counteract that and push that up to get what I would have had previously. Okay, so you've got a couple of options there. So you can go for more of a cool tone look or a little bit more of a warm tone look. So again, up to you how you want to do that. But do play around with this because, you know, you can get some really, really cool, lovely, nice effects. We'll add a little bit of sharpening, not a lot, probably about +10, leave the rest. A little bit of noise reduction, +5, and +5 into the color there. And that is it. That is pretty much it. It's a simple edit, and it gives you this lovely kind of cinematic look. The other thing that we could do is come back up to the white balance up here, and we could increase that if we wanted to, just to make it a little bit more warmer. You can see there what that's doing. It's just making the yellows a little bit stronger there, so that's quite a nice addition as well. But I always do the white balance last once I've done all the actual edit using all the different tools and color grading. So if I press the Y key, you'll see there that is the before and after. So it's a really easy, simple process, and the main idea with this is just actually, you know, suppressing these whites and the highlights from bringing up the detail in the shadows, matting out them blacks, and then just bringing down the colors on the skin tones. And you can see what that's done. She's you know, she's gone a little bit more warm, a little bit more orange there, and you can see the blue's gone out of the picture, and it's just become this lovely, really dark blue. And that just helps with the whole image. And yeah, that is how you do it. That is you know, a technique used for cinematic looks, for color grading movies and things like that. And it's yeah, it's quite a nice look, and it does give a lot of impact to your images. So I hope you enjoyed that. I look forward to seeing your images. Post them in the group and I'll give you some feedback. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.